Peril in Pelargir 2-player progression. Alright, let's do the first scenario of the Heirs of Numenor, one of the biggest spikes in difficulty in the game. Coming from Beregond into this, it's time to get spicy. We're up to facing some human enemies too, which is, change of pace from orcs. So 1A, the leaping fish. Set up, search the encounter deck for the leaping fish and an Alcaron scroll. Make sure the leaping fish is the active location and Alcaron scroll is attached to a hero. If attached, return to the staging area and it gains, exhaust the hero to attach it. Otherwise, place it on it. If you take damage, put it back in the staging area or that enemy. The leaping fish at the beginning of the first quest phase, it's a discard X cards from the encounter deck where X is the number of players in the game and enemies discarded by this effect are placed in the staging area. It's a 6 quest point location as well. Leaping Fish is a battle quest. We need to battle through this, and when we reveal it, we must search a copy for the Harbour Thugs. So we get 2 Harbour Thugs go into play, and add them in, and that's a 25 threat, 2-3-1-3 forced when the hero who has the scroll raises their threat, attach it. So facing this here, we have some Gondor characters. We have Denethor, who's 8-1-1-3-3, with the ability to exhaust and look at the top of the deck, encounter card deck, and place it back if we need to, or place it at the bottom. Which is we've seen before, but this is my mixed deck here. A new character here, Prince Imrahil, leadership, 11-2-3-2 with 4 health, Gondor and Noble, and when a character leaves play, ready Imrahil, which we can do once a round, which is nice given that it is a Gondor swarm style of deck. Then we have, joining him is leadership Boromir, new to this cycle, 11-1-3-2-5 with the keywords Gondor, Warrior and Noble. While Boromir has at least 1 resource in his pool, Gondor allies gain 1 attack, which is handy to buff our allies. In the second hand, we have Glorfindel, Spirit Glorfindel, the first time in this series, 5-3-3-1-5 with Noble, Noldor and Warrior, and forced after Glorfindel exhausts to commit to a quest, raise your threat by 1. So this is where we have a special build around this, but the 5 threat's pretty nice. Tactics Beregond with 10 threat, 0 willpower, 1 attack, 4 defense, has Gondor 4 health, Gondor Warrior keywords, and has Sentinel. Lower the cost to play a weapon and armor attachments on Beregond by 2, which is quite nice. And we bring Thalin for a bit of staging area damage. So 9-1-2-2-4, Dwarf Warrior, and while Thalin is committed to a quest, deal 1 damage to each encounter. Each enemy is revealed by the encounter deck. Alright, so that's going to give us our starting environment. This is probably the 6th recording I've done on this scenario. It's punishing. The ability for the spike, the ability to do battle questing, then normal spirit questing, enemies engaging you. Alright, let's look at that deck. So there's a Spirit of the Citadel, Defender of Ramus, a grey hair of mine, Gondorian Shield, Unexpected Courage, Song of Travel, which is super. That's what we're looking for, essentially to buff up Beregond. So Spirit of the Citadel, when he declares himself as a defender, doing 1 damage, Gondorian Shield, because it's a Gondor character, increasing it by 2, Unexpected Courage for Glorfindel. It's pretty good opening hand there, we'll keep that one. And in this deck here, we're looking for Shield of Gondor. We're looking for low-cost allies. We're looking for Errand Rider. There's the healing as well, Warden of Healing, to help heal our allies. Envoy of Pelargir, which is suitable for the quest. Gandalf and Daeron's Runes, and a Snowborn Scout. Looking for to sneak attack Gandalf in here and remove Harbour Thugs, or to do that as we start the quest phase, so I can remove something from the questing area, staging area, then quest a bit harder. But this is a good start here. This at least gives us what we want to help resource smoother touch. Be able Envoy, Errand Rider lets you exhaust to move resources around, so I can move resources to Lore or vice versa, especially if Shield of Gondor comes out and Boromir has plenty. Speaking of Shield of Gondor and Rivendell Bow, so the Rivendell Bow goes on to, or hopefully onto Glorfindel to help out the other deck. So I'm going to pay for 2 here to play Shield of Gondor, and I'm going to exhaust Shield of Gondor. And that will increase it there, so I increased it by 2. And then I'm going to use these here to pay for pay for a choice I can make. Potentially pay Envoy of Pelargir for 2 and drop 1 back into my pool, but I decided here to use Daeron's Ruins to draw 2 cards, giving me a sneak attack and traps. And traps are handy here to negate that 2 threat in the staging area. However, what I end up doing here is I'll discard the traps because I think I've got enough damage directly to deal to maybe mitigate that. So you can see here with my 1 law resource and 2 leadership resources, I still have a bit of up my sleeve. And this is where I start to think, if do I play sneak attack now and remove him, but then Gandalf leaves at the end of the phase. These are choices that I'm mulling over right now, and there's many ways that the game can branch from here. So I'll spend 2 here to pay Envoy from Pelargir, which will grant me a resource, which gives me the resource I need to play in there. And I want to maintain 1 resource in Boromir's pool, so I get the +1 attack on Gondor allies, because we are battle questing, which is using our fight value. And so I play Snowball Scout here, which leaves 1 in my pool for Boromir, which is what we need there. Or alternatively, I use for sneak attack. On this side here, given Beregond reduces the cost of resource attachments by 2, these 2 costs on 1 cost resource are gone for free. So now Beregond is defending for 6, and when he defends, he does a single damage. Couple that with Thalin's when questing do a damage is quite nice there. Here, because I played over a couple of sessions and had many setup sessions, I drew Northern Tracker legitimately. I think I call it a spare card that I had on top of the deck. And then went and count my cards and went, hang on, I haven't got enough cards here. I've got 4 here. Oh, hang on, there's 4 in my hand. I played 2 cards, I should have 7. So I draw that one back. So 4 +1, 5 +2 is 7. So I quickly just draw it back and shuffle my deck. The joys of playing when a little bit tired. Alright, so we'll get that out. We've sorted ourselves back up. And so the ability here for Battle Quest, we want to get rid of the living fish. The first turn, you're going to discard 2 X cards, where X is the player count, and we'll discard 2 cards. So try to get through and get rid of that leaping fish as soon as possible. So I need to get 5 on that to get rid of it. I play the Song of Travel on Thalin to give him access to the Spirit Sphere, which would be nice. And we look to play Unexpected Courage because I can tap into Thalin's resource now because he's Spirit, and play that on Glorfindel. Now looking for Light of Valinor because when he quests, he goes up by 1 threat. And we're going to play, which I haven't got in my hand yet. Hopefully get that soon. And then we're going to play Beregond. We're going to play the Beregond resource to play the Rivendell Bow. Now just tidy up a bit. This is where the Leaping Fish procs, and we can see here I draw up 2 cards, but there's no enemy here, so there's no trigger, which is nice. And then we go into the quest phase. Here I decide, you know what, I don't need the +1 on my allies. I'm going to play Gandalf, it's better. So before I commit to the quest, I play Gandalf sneak attack, and I'm going to use the damage here on that there and kill that Harper Thug, which drops the threat. Then I'm going to commit all of these characters to the quest, which is a nice. So I can see here, so I'm going to quest for 10, and we say 3 from Glorfindel, 4 from Gandalf, 7, 10, 13, 14 in total. And we can see here I draw a Pickpocket. Now Pickpockets aren't too scary, they only hit for 1. However, they do make you discard resources, especially if you don't optionally engage them. And then we've got Pelargir Docks, which is an interesting encounter. Gives +1 attack and defense to the bandits here, which I will rectify that shortly when they attack me. The goal of this deck is to use Beregond and Thalin in tandem to help put damage onto these enemies that come out, and when they do attack, we can potentially clear them before they hurt us, right? So I optionally engage on the left side with the the Harbour Thug, and I bring the Pickpocket to the second player. The goal here is for Beregond to defend kill before he can attack me. And I do decide that I want to travel to the Pelargir docks. And I'm just pondering through how I'm going to do this here. I bring the Pelargir docks across, so I shouldn't have optionally engaged first. And this is the thing I keep always thinking about the combat before I actually go into what I should be doing. And you can see here, I'll be like, oh, hang on, I meant to have travelled. I look at my hand and go, I probably should have travelled up to there. I should give also my show cards in order from left side to right side. So that would have been travel. That means it's +1 attack and defense here to the Pelargir docks. And so what happens here, that's going to hit +1 on the attack there. So it's going to hit for 4, and I'm defending here with Denethor. So Denethor will take a damage here that I don't record. However, the next turn I'll be able to heal him up, and it's like it never happened, which is nice. For whatever reason, I start to resolve the second character first, defend with Beregond, and to get the Pickpocket cleared, which is handy. But again, Denethor defending here. Denethor defends for 3. And you can see that it will take out there. I could have done it with a Snowborn Scout too, which again, this one here discards all resources, and the nice part here is I have no resources, so that's good there. So Denethor has defended that one. And for whatever reason, because it's the turn, I put Gandalf in the discard pile. Gandalf's meant to come back to my hand at the end of that quest phase, and so I could have used him again next turn, next to the game. I just unintentionally made the entire game harder for myself when I could use Gandalf again to pop an enemy. So I'll put that up my sleeve we'll see how that goes. But you can see here what I've got here is Glorfindel, and because I actually chump blocked that with the Snowball Scout, that ready up Imrahil. So Imrahil does 3 attack. Glorfindel is hitting for 3 and has range thanks to the bow. That's what removes the Thug from play. So I misspoke on the Denethor piece there, which is handy because this is where if I was a bit more thinking straight, I can use Denethor and ready him up, or exhaust him, and actually look at the top card of the deck. You can see here I got Light of Eleanor, which is perfect, was what I'm after, which means I'm questing for 1 that less now. So I'm not going up for threat for my quest with Glorfindel, which is a pretty common play, right? You need this card, and you need 3 of them in your deck. Otherwise, your threat goes up by 1. So I don't exhaust him. So the effect on forced on Glorfindel is when you quest, increase your threat by 1. The Light of the Valinor for Noldor or Sylvan heroes is to not exhaust your character when you quest, or you commit to a quest, which is nice. Then I spend 2 and I throw out Defender of Ramus, which gives us a 4 defense, 1 health ally, which is great. It also gives him +1 attack. Boromir's +1 attack for a resource in his pool for all Gondor allies is across all Gondor allies, not all Gondor allies you control. So whilst I use the wrong tracker for those observantly watching, I end up sorting myself out with the tracker and retroactively count what I've spent. But I play that Errand Rider there, which is nice to get out that Errand Rider. To essentially I can start moving resources around. So the goal here is to have Boromir generate resources, and then what I can do here is bring resources across from Boromir's and Shield of Gondor into Denethor, which helps smooth it out a bit. I also have a couple of different cards in the deck that help me increase the generation of resources. So you've got ability to have used the Wealth of Gondor, which is an action card, a 0 cost leadership card. Action, choose a Gondor hero and add 1 resource to that pool, which is the idea is to help buff someone. Warden of Healing comes out. The Warden of Healing here, with that 1 damage I didn't add on to Denethor, because I don't exhaust the Warden of Healing at all during this round. I would overlay, tap him, and heal Denethor had I had a damage on him. So I commit here Imrahil, Boromir, Envoy of Pelargir, And I'm also committing Glorfindel. If I use Glorfindel or someone that exhausts their thing below, I just put the exhaust tracker on the Light of Valinor, which just means I can, I've committed the quest, but I've readied up. Or I'm stayed ready. That's my way of doing things here. And so we commit here, go to Marketplace, alright, which is not too bad. And this is the one, this is the Surge card here, Collateral Damage. Discard 2 cards from the top of the encounter deck. Discard an additional 2 for each copy of Collateral Damage in the discard pile. If there's a location drawn, you increase your threat by 2 for each location. So you can draw big Surge chains here that make you threat out quickly, right? So I throw a dice down there to just count how many there are in the deck. I end up counting it manually later because you lose track of this, because especially when you cycle through the deck. Big thing about this entire encounter is that you surge pretty hard through it. So I quest for 10 here, which burns all the way through, which is nice. Which is good. And it makes me pass to 2A. During the fight in the tavern, one of your adversaries managed to grab Alcaron's scroll and flee outside. You chase the thief into the street, where you are surrounded by a gang of fellow brigands. You must fight your way through the mob and recover the scroll. It's a battle quest, 13 points. We use our tactic quest. We cannot advance unless we have the scroll, and when revealed, attach the scroll to the highest engagement cost enemy in play. Otherwise, put Alcaron's scroll in the staging area. So now I've got to exhaust a hero to get it back, which is fine. So yes, we've got fighting in the streets. We've burst out of the tavern like a drunken pub brawl, and we're working our way through these enemies here. So nothing out yet, but we need to deal with what we've got. So we've committed, we've done the quest. We're in the travel phase. I spend the resource from each pool here, and it lets me. Before I spend the resources, I'm going to grab the scroll back. So given there's no enemies coming out, I'm going to grab it and on Beregond again. 6 defense, can ready. Maybe the second unexpected courage, if I get one, will go on him to help him ready up multiple times. And we reset our environment there. So I didn't have enough resources in my second player's pool, because both our ARC players, all players, must spend 1 resource to travel to the market square, which is frustrating. Because I could have easily put it there and cleared it. It's immune to player card effects, so I can't actually use any tricks on this one. I can't use Asphalloth in my left-hand deck. So I draw the Citadel Custodian and the Blood of Numenor. Custodian is a 5/1/0/1/3 ally, of which it reduces the cost to play Custodian by 1 for each Gondor ally in play. So I currently got 3 in play, which means he's 2 cost currently, which is nice. I actually got 4 in play. He's 1 cost because it's actually for Gondor allies in play, which is nice. So Steward of Gondor goes up. I'll bump that on the correct one there, and I play Burning Brand. And this is where I'm considering what. So I would have healed, like I said in the previous thing, I would have healed that part of the video too previously to do that. Spend my money, play that one down. So I only spent 1 because there's 4 in play. And play Northern Tracker for 4. And we can see the song, which is handy. And that lets us get Thalin, access to Thalin's resources. Let's commit to the quest. Errand Rider, Prince Imrahil, Boromir, Glorfindel, which gives us 11 against 3 currently. We'll throw the Northern Tracker in, and we'll throw Defender of Ramas in, which gives us actually a few more, because the Northern Tracker hits for 3. So we're getting 4 from those 2, which is nice, or 5 more. So hit questing for 15. And you can see here we've got the Loch-Ness Bandit and the Pickpocket in there, doing damage to them, which is nice. It's an important part of having Thalin questing along with us at home, right? So questing quite heavily, which is nice. There's definitely finding in this series that it ends up being quite a lot mentally to keep track of it all, especially when you've got a camera over your head, right? And you want to keep a nice, tidy, neat game without too much post-editing. So it does end up weighing a bit there. So we've optionally engaged the pickpocket left side and the bandit right side. The bandit will steal resources from the player, and there's no resources to steal, which is nice. And then the pickpocket is going to draw a shadow card, and when it attacks, it will remove resource. But Beregond is defending, Beregond is doing the damage, and Beregond clears the pickpocket. Super. Again, so here we're going to leverage the fact that we have a hero here. We're going to look to defend this, or we could take it undefended. There's a risk if take it undefended here. I don't mind putting damage on. We've got healing to draw it back, but let's see what we can do here. Let's take it undefended, and that's 3 damage. And that 3 damage can go on to Glorfindel. He's got 5, which is fine. We can deal with that. We can heal up 1 per turn with the Warden of Healing, which is risky given the damage on this one here, but allows me to deal with what we've done there. Yeah, alright, so we have Glorfindel and Thalin hit Loch-Ness Bandit and wipe it out nicely, which is not too bad. So we're having control of our board state here. I heal up Glorfindel for 1. That's 1 damage across 2 characters. So I'll put 3 down to 2, which is not too bad. Alright, so we're going to ready up. So we're ready up. I'll try and edit these a bit faster so we don't waste as much time. Reset the staging area, move the second player icon, let's go. So we bump up the relevant trackers. We draw our cards. There's the Wealth of Gondor and a Hasty Stroke's ability to generate some resources on a Gondor hero, and Hasty Stroke will cancel a nasty shadow. These quest shadows aren't too spicy, though there is one of these, I think it's the Harp Storehouse, that has a +2 attack. So if you're looking to defend or take some chump damage or take undefended attack, this can hurt. So we make sure that we block that one there. I'll exhaust the Warden of Healing to get Glorfindel down just in case something comes out, and then we're going to commit a couple of heroes to quest. So we'll commit Ramus, Northern Tracker, Glorfindel, and Thalin, which is important that we do that. So it's 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then 17 in total. So we draw the local trouble, which means when you attach it to one of the highest threat heroes, which is either Boromir or Imrahil, we need to increase our threat by 1. So every time you're ready, use a attack, use a trigger, an effect, he's going to go up. So this boosts our threat quite highly. And there we add a Zealous Trader, which we can throw one of our damages on, thanks to Thalin being part of the quest. So not too bad there. Like those cards, like some of the treachery cards aren't great, however, we can deal with that there. It's not too awful. Alright. So we bring our threat accordingly, and we make a substantial amount of progress. And that progress here is what's going to rapidly accelerate us to the next round. Now, in hindsight, do we stay on quest 2A for a bit longer? Maybe. So 3A, escape to the keys. Covered the scroll, but you're still outnumbered by your determined foes. Lord Elrond shouts for you to escape and deliver the scroll before it flees and summons City Guard. If you can get to your ship, you can escape the clutches of these dangerous thugs. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck or discard pile for one enemy and adds it to the staging area. And side 3A, is that we cannot optionally engage enemies. We have a 15-point quest that we need to get through, and that we must have the scroll in our possession to gain victory. Also, the first revealed enemy in this phase, in the encounter, will get attack against the player who holds the scroll. So I picked the Harbour Thug here because I got no nasty effects. We can't optionally engage anymore, so everything is going to come out to the second player once we hit the engagement phase, which is a lot, but we can handle that. We've got Beregond, we've got Glorfindel, and we have ability to potentially negate some, take an undefended attack potentially. So yeah, it's a bit tricky here because there are assassins in the deck that if they don't get optionally engaged, they have nastier effects. There is an Umbar assassin who will kill one-shot a hero with just remove a hero from the game, right? So we need to make 15 quest points. We're back to standard questing. Now we have to use our spirit to quest. So we'll see how this shakes out. So I'm going to travel here and spend 1 point from each to go to Market Square. And we know that the 3 come out now. So the Harbour Thug, 2 Harbour Thugs, and the Zealous Trader. The Zealous Trader will do a damage or 2 if not optionally engaged to allies. So we're going to see 2 allies, allies get hurt here. So I'm going to see my Defender of Ramus take 2 damage and my Northern Tracker take 2 damage. That will kill my my Ramus, and yeah, he's gone. However, it does ready Imrahil, though with local trouble, it increases my threat by 1. So it's one of those things where local trouble gets really tricky here. So I draw my shadow cards, punch everything over, right, and away we go. So let's do this here. Let's see what comes out. So I'm going to defend the first one against the Zealous Trader, which will do Beregond's Spear of the Citadel, do 2 damage and kill it. I don't even care what it is, it's gone. It actually was one of the warehouses that's +2, which is nice not to get. Alright, Harbour Thug here. So I am looking to use Heavy Stroke. I think this is where Heavy Stroke will be useful in play here. And playing Heavy Stroke here to block the first Harbour Thug Shadow. Play Heavy Stroke for 1 and block the first one here. And you can see here, I've got City Streets, which is +2, which is 5 damage, which is nice because that's that's going to be a dead Glorfindel if that was the case. So they don't hit too hard, but like that +2 does sucks. And here, this is the 3. It does it against the one with Alcaron Scroll. So okay. That's not ideal, so I lose that there. Alcaron Scroll goes to that particular thug. It's not awful, but it's bad enough, right? So we can see there that we defend with Glorfindel. And he has his damage taken from the attack from Glorfindel. And I ready up Glorfindel to attack the second one. And I can see the Harbour Thug hits that there. There should be 3 damage also on Glorfindel, which I do remember to put on shortly. Alright, so that's done there. I am hurt them, which means next turn if Beregond defends, Beregond's killing one of them straight away. I'm not sure if I want to, in hindsight, have had Beregond with Unexpected Courage, but I hope to have pulled a second one, because the idea is that he can just keep defending those 2, like defend 2 or 3 attacks and be your main defender. It's pretty nice with 6 defense too. Alright, so we'll ready up and we'll go around the pole again, and hopefully we can get some more questing done this time. So we're going to draw the cards. Another Northern Tracker, and I got a Master of Law. Master of Law is nice because it lets you name a law card and reduce its value by 1. So it's not too bad. It also has some spirit. Same with the Northern Tracker here. Need to increase my spirit. The ability to clear out things in the staging area nicely. That means I'm doing 2 to all locations, which starts adding up. Alright, so we'll do a bit of resource smoothing here. So I move a resource from Boromir to Denethor. and that lets me, and then I'll use the Wealth of Gondor to add 1 extra, which makes it 3 Master of Law, and I'll be able to play that Master of Law, which is nice. It just gives me that increases that willpower. Having that willpower there to quest is good, because this is where it starts to get hard, where you've got a combat orientated deck, or if you do have a combat orientated deck, moving away from battle and siege questing. So battle questing is with attack, siege questing is with defense, and then standard questing is with willpower. Alright, so I'll play the Northern Tracker here. So having Thalin and Glorfindel generate resources is nice. A Horn of Gondor would have been cool here for Thalin or someone, just to generate some additional resources. Questing here, so 2. I'll quest 3, 4. I'm questing with obviously Glorfindel 2. Imrahil, I've quested threat. I think I might start looking at an overlay here, like in that, and keep track of it, because it's or find something with the trackers. I'm not sure what I want to do, or find a spot from on the board. I think it could be another thing to do as well. All right, so we'll see what attack goes here. Move the coin out of the way, and so we're making 10 progress here. So I've got no idea what we're going to draw up, and the big thing is what comes out of the encounter deck. So it's about time for this scenario to kick up, and I withdraw collateral damage. So collateral damage means I'm drawing 4 cards up now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which, again, it's not awful, but I'm just confirming how many are in the deck already. So, the 1, which means it's 2 in total, right? Super. So I'm drawing 2 cards for that one and 2 cards for the other one. So 4 come out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, there's a positive here being towards the end of my deck is that shadow cards stop. So I can see I draw 2 city streets. There was 2 more collateral damages in that hand. So now there's 3 collateral damages, or 4 in the discard pile, which means if I draw it again, I draw 8, right? So you can see how this can hurt you. So I increase my threat by 2 for each player. Again, we're pretty comfortable on the threat. We're still in the 30s, right? Or 39 and whatever. It's low enough. I draw my Lost Neck Bandit. Right, you do it on there. Yeah, it's not too awful, right? Like it's right. So we've got a decent headway in the staging area here. It's 3 against the 10. We clear out the markets row, which is nice, and then we have 6 against 15. We're getting there. We just need to kill that thug and get our scroll back, which is good. Now, we don't get to optionally engage enemies, so that the enemy in the staging area is coming straight to the first player. I also realised that Thalin is not questing, therefore Thalin doesn't get to do damage. Remember that. I think I could have made a mistake in this. We'll still see. I'm sure I could have dealt with it, given the board state. So you can see here, yep, so 6 against... Sorry, 6. I'm spinning that. That's when he engages me. I have to remove 2 resources from the player's pool, which is painful, but it's also like you need to have direct damage in here. Like I would have had that Gandalf again. I could have spent it on that. Like, yeah, I think this is it shows you the idea of like how punishing these quests can be without direct damage. A Helldeer would be nice, but I haven't unlocked him yet. So I'm going to defend this with Then I thought, there are no shadow cards. Because the encounter deck is empty, no shadow cards are dealt. So this is working in my favour here. So I can just take that on Denethor and be fine. There's Beregond defends against the Harbour Thug and kills the Harbour Thug, which puts the scroll back into the staging area. So you can picture this battle being fisticuffs everywhere and a group of people. In here, I'll use we take the 3 damage, wherever it may be, just take that attack and wear it. And we can wear that accordingly. So it can be defended, it can be attacked, whatever needs to be done there. That's a straightforward one there. So take the 3 damage onto Thalin. Right, I'm still carrying that there. So 3 damage on Thalin. And I then use Glorfindel to attack. And so Glorfindel attack. I'm running out of tokens. He readies up if need be. And I use that 3, use the ranged, and then attacks again. So that bow on him's nice. That removes him there, which is good. And then I am able to ready up, and we'll go for our last round because, I hope the last round. We're close. So, ready everyone up? We'll be able to limp our way through this one here. So we know the scrolls in staging area. I need to exhaust someone for the scroll, right? In goes the resources. We're hitting 40 high levels now, right? Like, this is the problem with having that local travel, is that it starts piling up. Second player is now the first player, and so any enemies come out are going to hurt us here. But we should be able to deal with them. We've got chump blocks in others we can use. Super. So I've got Elrond's Council and a Wealth of Gondor. I've got too much resources on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, I just burn that right away. Or burn this in the. I put that in at the what's it called? The quest phase, because I always forget to use them. And one match I had 3 of them, and they all were discarded from my hand when we got engaged with a shadow card, right? And that kind of sucked. So I've used that there to reduce my threat by 3, increase my spirit by 1. And I'll put it on there. That's the 3 damage before, by the way, when he should have attacked me when he was the first enemy that comes out of the staging area. Right, it makes the attack. So I took that attack undefended against Boromir. It doesn't change the outcome because there was no shadow cards. It itself was the final card of the deck. There are no shadow cards there. So it doesn't change the game state. I think that's still a valid play. Comment below if you believe otherwise. But I think we've got a pretty, not perfect, but a pretty near well alright playthrough here. The board state's pretty commanding at this stage, short of a there's nothing in here that can actually really hurt, unlike some of the other quests. So what we've got here is the Citadel Custodian, Master of Law, Glorfindel, Northern Tracker are all questing here. So we've got doing the math here, we're going to send everything we can, because the goal here is to finish this quest. I need to make 9 progress, right? So 9 progress. I'm also balancing out the fact that I'm going to shuffle the encounter deck and bring up 2 new cards, right? Which means the first one will attack me, there'll be damage done on me. Like, this is potentially challenging, right? So let's give this a shuffle and see what happens here. This is the final round. So we shuffle it up. Let's see, we're making 14 progress against nothing so far. And all I need is 9. So maybe we hope for collateral damage. Maybe we hope for, I don't know, what. So let's look here, right? Let's go. Cool. He'd make an attack of 1. And he'd draw a shadow card. City Streets there, Surge. And so we can see the pickpocket. Well, technically, the pickpockets, he attacks, right? So pickpocket attacks, the next card would have been City Streets, which was a shadow card for pickpocket. So he's hitting someone for 3 damage, right? So the 3 damage gets put on there, and we can deal with that, right? He actually takes 1 damage too from Thalin questing as well. No, Thalin defends here, that's right. Thalin defends here, so he's fine. That's all good there. And then what we can see here, City Streets, we're fine. Super. So that's his shadow cards. Me working out my own math there. So yep, seats for 3. No worries. And that goes on. And he's dealt. It's a matter where it goes here. And then the final card needs to be 1 or 2. And it is a Loch-Ness Assassin, which makes it 5. So 5 against 14 means we make 9 progress. And that 9 progress is enough for us to get to our ship with the scroll and get out. So you can see here that this is a pretty full-on scenario. It also requires timing, it requires balance of your deck, and it requires a few other things there. So you can see my somewhat imperfect playthrough resulted me in getting there. A few little hiccups and mistakes, but in the end we get the win in the first cycle of, or first adventure in the Heirs of Numenor against the Shadow cycle. All right, stay tuned. Talk to you soon.